Was Commander Graves of the Shadow Company a US PMC right to distrust of Alejandro and the Mexican Special Forces due to the corruption and the control that Las Almas had over Las Almas, Mexico? That's the question that we asked today, because listen, I'm Mexican, and I enjoyed and loved the Mexican aspect of Modern Warfare 2. However, I also really loved and enjoyed the Shadow Company led by Commander Graves. As you guys know, that's no secret. But I think the more time passes, the more we talk about anything and everything Modern Warfare, I believe that we can uncover more details and the thinking behind some of the characters' decisions. I think Commander Graves is a prideful and proud soldier that has a lot of good survival skills. I think he spent some time in Las Almas and he saw how corrupt it was and all the deaths that it caused by the sicarios that were present in the city. I think he had a right to distrust any military branch in Mexico as he didn't really know any better. And he saw the Mexican military attack Task Force 141 and Alejandro. But Graves may have believed that Alejandro was willing to sacrifice a few of his men to keep up the lie that he was actually under the command of El Sin Nombre. I believe that since their first encounter, he may have told his men to be vigilant for anything or anyone that would seem a bit suspicious. I think the doubt really began to creep sometime during their stakeout of El Sin Nombre's mansion. Graves says, "Let's go in. I have enough shadows to take over the whole country." But Alejandro says, "No." Now, to us, this seems like a reasonable thing and we can understand it. Like, we, of course, don't want you to invade our damn country. But to Graves, it may have seemed like he was trying to avoid going inside, maybe buy El Sin Nombre some time. Then when we capture El Sin Nombre, she clearly recognizes Alejandro and he clearly recognizes her. This kind of makes Graves angry and he is curious as to how they know each other.
Have a seat. All right, how do you two know each other?
No is a strong word.
Las palabras fuertes son importantes. Nuestra palabra es nuestro valor, ¿no?
¡De la verga, hija de puta, que te voy a matar!
Calmado, comandante.
¡Ya!
And although Alejandro explains why, and again to us it may seem true and easy to understand, I can also see why the commander of a PMC with not much knowledge of Las Almas would be worried that Alejandro may actually be playing everyone and is indeed helping or at least working with Valeria in some way. This would cause Graves to keep a close eye on Alejandro as he would be worried that at any point he may turn on them. And then when Alejandro storms out in an angry fit, Graves could have perceived this as a show or a fake reaction to avoid getting the information out of Valeria. I think Graves realizes that he may want to watch out for himself and his operators. That's why I think he gave the order to take over Los Vaqueros base when they were gone and to capture all of their soldiers. I think this was done to avoid them getting the jump on him as he had already grown distrust towards Alejandro and doubted his true intentions. When we get to the oil rig, Graves is accompanied by Soap and Ghost, two operators that he clearly trusts way more than Alejandro. He probably didn't want the colonel near him for a fear of betrayal when no one was looking. Now, during the oil rig operation, we see Graves actively helping and happy to work with both of the Special Air Service operators. He is seen celebrating and smiling with both Soap and Ghost, and he even embraces Soap.
Gold Eagle actual, Shadow 1. Good hit. Good hit. Missile and rig destroyed.
Copy that, Shadow 1. Good work. Now get off that X and go home. So, Ghost, thanks for a job well done.
Roger that, actual.
We're RTB, men.
After this, they continue on their way. I think this is extremely telling and supports the fact that Graves trusted and enjoyed working with Task Force 141. However, the same could never be said for Alejandro and Los Vaqueros. Now here's where the big turn happens, and we have to remind ourselves of something very important. Graves was willing to let Soap and Ghost leave freely, as their part in the operation was done according to General Shepard.
You boys have been relieved. Thank you for your service.
Now, Alejandro was a different story. I'm pretty sure that Commander Graves wanted to interrogate him for his own purposes. When we reach this point, we realize that things could have been handled very differently. Soap and Ghost could have just left and informed Captain Price about what just occurred. And then Price would have probably gone to Kate Laswell, and then she would have gone to Shepard. But things didn't go this way. Things turned bad really fast. Graves immediately gets defensive when Alejandro tried to approach him. He had reason to distrust the colonel for a while now, and I think that he felt no need to pretend anymore, and that's why he probably said this.
No, I don't take orders from you.
Didn't Valeria say that? Now that makes me wonder what else I don't know about your affiliation with the drug lord.
What the fuck did you just say to me, pendejo? Lying Graves.
Don't do that. Don't. Do that.
Now, Alejandro's reaction reinforces Graves' own thoughts. He doubles down, and when Soap tries to interfere, he warns them again.
No one needs to get hurt here.
Are you threatening us?
Soldier, I don't make threats. I make guarantees. So let's not do this.
I'm calling Shepard.
General Shepard sends his regards. He told me y'all wouldn't take this well.
He didn't just turn around and start shooting everybody. He tried to de-escalate the situation, take control of the matter, and move on, like soldiers do. He had his orders, and he expected that Soap and Ghost take theirs as well.
I've got my orders, and now you have yours.
And who the fuck do you think you are, cabron? My men are inside!
I'm afraid not. Your men have been detained.
Emotions got out of control, and when Alejandro attacked him, he restrained him. However, some of what happens next could be blamed on an operator of Graves. It's very important to note that Graves did not fire on Soap. It was one of his men that fired on him. After this, there was no stopping it. I think Graves didn't want the fight, not out of fear, but out of respect. Even after Soap escapes, Graves calls Ghost brother.
That was a big mistake, brother. Did not have to be like this.
And I really don't think this is due to Graves' speech, his slang, or where he's from. I think that he does this because he genuinely wished this would have gone a different route. Graves is a commander first and foremost. I think he followed his instincts and his experience when making these tough decisions. Was he right to have a distrust of Los Vaqueros? Absolutely. Does that make it right or wrong? I think that's for you to decide.